to the Dark Side of Soul podcast. This is Joe.
This is Sean.
Thank you for joining us today. We are going to bridge the gap and some of our topics today. Hey, this is interesting. I realized we've gone through over half a year of Dark Side of Soul, talking about Korean history and folklore, but we have not even gotten close to saying anything about the Korean War. And that's the first thing people are looking for when it comes to Korea is the Korean War. The Forgotten War.
When it comes to history, I think so. The Forgotten War, yeah.
And I don't think we've really had a show about anything that happened during the Korean War. I guess because you and I are not really. That's not our focus.
Not our wheelhouses at all. I think. I know, like the peripheral knowledge of the Korean War. I'd say we probably know more than the average person about the Korean War, but that's about it. So
I used to be really into military history, and then I'm like, no, not into military history.
Yeah, I'm not so into military history either. I was never fascinated by it.
I'm always into stories. And so we have great stories here tonight. But before we get started on this story, I want to tell everyone we do run the Dark Side of Soul Ghost Walk, right? You can go to darksideofsoul.com to book that. Also, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I don't think you'd like on this one. Or subscribe. Subscribe. Tell your friends.
And leave a review if you can.
Share and put a review. Reviews really help us. I think it's because we start getting reviews on Apple that we're going up in the ranks, so that helps.
Oh, yeah.
Yay. And you can just say that, I was into Dark Side of Soul before it was cool.
Right.
Do that.
Right. I think our patrons can all say that for sure.
Oh, definitely. Our patrons. If you can become a patron, if you go to patreon.com/darksideofsoul, we're starting at just $5 a month. You can get a lot of extra material. We like to thank our top tier patrons: Angel Earl, Joe Bonamini, Jamie Staley, and Sharon Cullen. See, I'm doing it at the front of the show. I'm front loading today. Front loading. You get to hear your name on the show every week if you're a top tier patron, and you get extra stuff. You can actually get swag mailed to your real mailbox. Every month, something horror themed. We're sitting this month. What is it?
What was it this month? You sent
the horror posters.
Oh, by Junji Ito. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, Junji Ito, the Japanese artist. Yeah, comic book artist, horror. He's very, very surreal in his art. Very, very surreal.
So kind of we sent our top patrons those posters this month.
Yeah.
We also run have a comic, The Dark Side of Soul, Dark Weird Tales from Korean Lore, which is available digitally at Comixology and Global Comics and through our website. You can also get a copy at The Dice Latte, which is a great comic book store and game cafe in Seoul. You can also order if you're inside Korea. As of this recording, if you're inside Korea, you can also order a hard copy. Outside Korea, they're still restricting mailing outside of Korea, unless you want to pay $20,
$30. Isn't like $30
to have it air mailed. It's
madness.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that.
No.
It's a great book, but not worth spending $30 in shipping for.
I think it is, Joe. I think it's
a great
totally
book.
I might be a little bit biased, but I think
Sean, yeah, okay.
But yeah, people are complaining about that. Just a brief sidebar talking about that because Christmas coming up. A lot of people here want to send gifts and at least Christmas cards and stuff back home. But even sending a Christmas card is going to cost like I don't know, mad amount of money. Crazy.
And I'm getting stuff on time. We'll get there.
And I'm getting stuff from my mom. I'm getting stuff coming from Canada, all the way from Newfoundland on the east coast of Canada. So way far away. And I'm getting stuff in my no problems.
But that's not an issue. The issue is that the mail service is not able to get contracts with local airlines.
Oh yeah, okay, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, having trouble.
Yeah,
making it feasible, financially feasible.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, also we have a Facebook page at facebook.com/darksidesoul. And we're fairly active, and contact us with supernatural experiences. If you've had any in Korea, we are compiling a book of those. So let me take you back. I could do the Dan Carlin impression. What is it? Dan Carlin. What does he do? He does just a history podcast. Can you believe it? Hardcore history with Dan Carlin. All right. Back 1950 Northeast Asia. You have to have the really quiet, you have to have the giant breaks in between.
Right. It's like when you listen to 80, what's his name, Sirius XM or XFM. Eddie, what's his name? I can't remember. He's a rock and roll commentator. And
really?
On all of his shows, he's got these massive pockets of dead air. When he's telling, like long, they'd be like 5 seconds, and you're like, oh, did it freeze?
Yeah, it does. They do that, and honestly, I do think some of the ones that use dead air very well works. Quiet is part of sound. White space is part of art.
That's why I like hard bop jazz, like Thelonious Monk. He uses a lot of space to create music. Yeah, silence to create music. And the guy's name's Eddie Trunk. That's his name.
Eddie Trunk.
Anyway, okay, Dan. Tell us.
All right.
Poppy Dan, tell us a story.
All right. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning of the Korean War. North Korea invaded South Korea on June 25th, 1950 at 4 a.m. No, this is called Codename Tempest. Pokpung. That was the name of this operation. This is significant. Oh, also, I'm going with the non-Pyongyang version of events.
Right. Yeah, the official South events, right?
The official events that the rest of the world does, except North Korea.
And maybe China.
Maybe China.
Maybe even Russia.
Maybe the Trump administration. I don't know. Oh, that's the closest I'm ever going to get to doing that on this show. I'm sorry.
You only have a couple more months to get your jokes in.
No. I don't want to alienate listeners. Anyway, yeah. If you go to North Korea, the propaganda says that the South invaded the North. But no, really, the North invaded the South, 4 a.m., June 25th, 1950. Now, this is significant because this was a weekend in the middle of farming season. So it's strategically pretty good or very lucky because a lot of the soldiers were not there at the 38th parallel, which is where Korea was divided after World War II. Many were away at working on farms. And just by chance, a lot of the officers were at a party at Army headquarters, so they were drinking late into the night, hungover. They were really all caught off guard. There was just a scattering of troops, and no one was prepared. They were all sleeping. So North Korea easily just rolled in. Within the army, the South Korean army just instantly retreated, and within 5 hours, they've gone from the 38th parallel to Gaesong, which was one of the traditional capitals, you could say.
Oh, yeah. In Kaesong was the capital in Koryo.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Which Gaesong is not too far northwest of Seoul. These days, it is part of North Korea. It's kind of like the first major town/city you get to if you cross the border going north.
That's right, yeah. And where I live, I was mentioning this to you the other day, Joe, when we were driving through an area not far from my place. I live not far from what was the midway point between Seoul and Kaesong. And
could you see it from your house?
Kaesong? No. I can see North Korea from like the mountains in North Korea from the mountain behind my house, but I can't see Kaesong. No. So the area not far from where I live is the middle point. And during the Chosun Dynasty, there were a lot of taverns, roadside taverns in that area. So where a lot of people would stop when they'd go travel between Seoul and Kaesong in the Chosun Dynasty. A lot of history there. Historic place that around this area where I live, people have no idea. All these taverns and stuff were there. Big historic spots. Forgotten.
So interesting. If only you could make a tour about that.
Well, you know that story went.
I'm not going to distract too much. Okay. So within 2 days, the North Korean army was extremely close to Seoul. And I mean the army. I mean, it's not like, driving, yeah, I'm sure you can do it in an hour or so, but you're talking about a whole army, and you've seen tanks. They don't move that fast. And people walking. They're walking close to Seoul. So the Syngman Rhee administration hears about this, and this is where I'm going to go with this. So on June 27th, 2 days after the invasion, 10 in the morning, Syngman Rhee tells the whole country on loudspeakers and on radio that war has broken out. I mean, this is the first nationwide broadcast ever in South Korea. And he says that we have to, this is the quote. I mean, he said it in Korean, but this is the English version. We have decided to defend Seoul. So trust the government and stay in your positions. So he said that he will stay in Seoul too. Now, this message was repeated around 3 or 4 times in a 12-hour period. So all day long, people are hearing that we're at war, stay in place. It sounds like the Seoul, doesn't it?
Yeah. Trust the government. Trust authority. Famous last words.
Stay in place.
Yeah, stay in place. And it sounds like Seoul. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, boy. That's a dark one.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that episode, but we will one day.
Mm-hmm.
So people were hearing this broadcast, and they just said it just sounded strange. It wasn't a Memorex moment. It wasn't the MCI pin drop. Then they figured out, oh, this is why it sounds strange. It sounds like a long distance call.
Oh, really?
It sounds like a long distance call. And hold on. Is Syngman Rhee like telling everyone that to stay in Seoul and that he's going to stay in Seoul with him in a long distance call? Some people had actually gone to the Blue House and it was empty.
Mm-hmm. The Blue House being where the president lives.
Right.
So if for anyone who doesn't know.
It was empty. So, it turns out that that morning, Syngman Rhee had skipped town on a special train with his cabinet down to Daejeon. and then made the announcement.
Good grief. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like the Seoul. It sounds like, the captain jumping the ship before anyone got off. And I was thinking immediately of King Sonjo during the Indian War, running away when things were getting bad.
Right. That's right. Which pissed off everyone.
It pissed off everyone. And the Chinese were like, no, come back, sit back down here.
Yeah.
This is your country. We're fighting your war for you. You stay right here.
Yeah. He left Seoul though. And then there's something
kept running away. I think it went to Yanghwa.
I can't remember exactly. Didn't he? Yeah. I think he may have moved around. I can't quite.
He moved to a remote island.
He went to Ganghwa, I think, at one point.
Ganghwa. Why did I say Ganghwa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think he went farther north as well. At one point, I can't quite. I might be wrong on that. But yeah, people started burning Seoul down when the Japanese came into the city. It was empty and on fire. And they're like, looks like they did our job for us.
Yep.
And people were. And there's suggestions by some historians that the fires were caused specifically by the Nobi class, the slaves, the servants, to remove their records, the records that indicated that they were slaves. So people reacting to the government's fleeing of their duties to protect the country and its people.
I think we need to go back on that. Now, this is where I'm iffy. Now, this is why we have relatively few surnames in Korea. Is during this time a lot of records were burnt and people had to. A lot of people didn't have last names, surnames, and then they were going through
lower classes didn't.
Yeah, they were getting names for themselves and they were naming themselves after rich families.
I've heard that. I don't know details of that, but I've read that, especially that was a big thing after the occupation or during the occupation.
Yeah.
Commoners would switch their family histories. So, but I don't know enough about that to comment on it now.
I am Joe Richman. Master of
I'm Sean Moneybags. This is all my land.
Anyway. So people had noticed that that Syngman Rhee likely wasn't in town, and then on top of that, people started seeing injured soldiers and refugees trailing in from the north. You go, okay, something's going on. Let's pack our bags and let's start moving a little south. This doesn't sound too good. But back then there were only like 2 bridges across the Han. Now permanent bridges up until the late 1800s. If there was anything like a bridge, it was usually like a pontoon set up, just like a bunch of floating platforms strung together. The first permanent bridge was built it was finished in 1900. There was a rail bridge and there was a foot bridge. Well, the foot bridge also could handle cars, similar to most of the bridges we have on the Han River now. Especially the Mapo Bridge is what comes to mind.
Yeah, Mapo, Wonhyo, the Daegyo, the great bridges, the big ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even which is it? The Mapo, which the subway crosses. Does the subway cross the Mapo Bridge? I know. I think the train.
No. The subway goes underneath the Mapo Bridge.
Okay. All right. So, but yeah, Line 3 crosses the Han River on a bridge.
Oh gosh, that's way to the east.
Yes. So that's yeah. But I can't remember which bridge it is. Yeah. Oh, I guess east of Mapo. Right. Okay.
Yeah. See, that's one of our little quiet gaps. There we go.
Edit that out.
There. So this is going on, and the day is going by. People are starting to the only way out of Seoul is to cross this bridge. I mean, people aren't going to risk going on the rail bridge, I would assume. So the entire city is fleeing south on this one bridge. And night falls and people are still crossing it. And at 2:30 a.m., the bridge blows up. And 4,000 people were on the bridge at the time. And they were people. I was watching some videos. There were actually people who were around at the time, and they were interviewing, and they were describing the scenes. People crawling on the ground, all bloodied. A guy just stood out in his memory as this man with his foot severed, crying for his mother. When it first blew up, I mean, people were just like scattered in many different directions up in the air. People fell into the river along with the cars. But the thing was, people don't know how many people actually were on the bridge when it collapsed, when it was blown up. So it's estimated between 500 to 1,000 people were killed. The official number is close to around 800. And so people would say, okay, so North Korea blew up the bridge. They got there just in time, and it was bad luck on everyone. They didn't get out fast enough. But that's the thing. It wasn't North Korea who blew up the bridge. It was South Korea. South Korean government blew up their own bridge and killed their own citizens that were crossing their bridge. And yeah, it was all meant to slow down the North's progress, but it was all kind of slapdash and haphazard. Also, I think just everyone was just getting their acts together. Everyone was caught off guard, maybe literally with their pants down, considering all the officers were at this party. But it got so bad that they blew up the bridge before the South Korean Army's 5th Division was able to cross yet. So they were stranded on the north side of the bridge, just waiting for the North to take them over. They're all going to get shot, and the North is going to take all their equipment. So, this not good. So, but yeah, so the background on this was, yes. So Syngman Rhee had obviously left Seoul. The officers class has said, no, they cannot defend Seoul. There's no one there. Everyone's out in the fields right now, and the officers are all hungover, I assume. So they decided to give up Seoul for now, but they wanted to slow down the North. So they decided to destroy the Hangang footbridge. So on June 27th, this is the day that so Syngman Rhee leaves around early in the morning, does the announcement at 10 a.m. Starting at noon that day, they start putting TNT on the bridge. They start fastening on. It's up to around 3,600 pounds, like around 1,600 kilograms of TNT on the bridge. It takes them around 3.5 hours, from noon to around 3:30, to set up all of these explosives. And it was just sitting there. So the bridge was rigged to blow for a long, long time. Then people are still crossing the bridge that is rigged to explode. It's not until 11:30 at night that there's a demolition warning being sent out. But they didn't announce it to Seoul residents. Like, that's those same loudspeakers that Syngman Rhee announced the war with. And they didn't bother like announcing on the loudspeakers that they're about to blow up the bridge. They only like kind of, they mentioned it to people who are immediately at the bridge, I think. At 2 a.m. So they've, it's a disaster. The North Korean army arrives at 11 the next morning. So they were right that the North was coming really fast, and they would have little resistance, if any. The thing is, they were able to really successfully cross the river, so the bridge was blowing up the bridge was hardly an impediment to them.
Yeah.
And so it was just such a big, clumsy fluke. The aftermath of this, I mean, there were just these big mistakes like coulda, woulda, shoulda. They didn't give a proper evacuation notice on the day that North Korea attacked, even when the president and his cabinet had evacuated. He was still telling people to stay in their place. This sounds like the Seoul. God.
Yeah, if anyone just very quick background of the Seoul was the ferry that capsized 2014.
Yes.
Yeah. So all those
April
all those high school kids on the ferry were told to stay in place as it was capsizing,
as it was sinking.
Yeah.
While the captain and the top crew were getting on the lifeboats.
Yeah.
Rescued by the Coast Guard.
The captain was in his underwear. He was in his drawers because he was in bed.
Yep.
But
so yeah, they didn't give an evacuation notice. They also didn't close off the bridge. You know, putting all this TNT on a bridge, you think smart to close it. It's like, you know, if you're mopping the floor, you put up the wet floor sign.
You're right.
We didn't do it. This is a chain of we would say cavalier attitudes towards safety. We have a pattern of, and this might be the root of this. This might be a really good example of this.
I think cavalier attitude is a euphemism for how it actually is. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. So, just like we see a lot in Korean history, they had to get a scapegoat. So, Colonel Chae Chang-sik, who ordered the detonation, he was executed later that year on September 21st. But it turns out that his widow later on in the 60s fought to clear his name, and then the courts in 1964 declared his innocence, saying that it wasn't Chae Chang-sik's call. He was actually obeying orders. He was actually told by his superiors to blow up the bridge. He was just following the orders.
That's probably right. If he had higher ups, I'd imagine they would have made the call.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
you rarely get middle management actually making a decision on their own.
Yeah, right. Especially in the military for blowing something up. I wouldn't be surprised if that came right from the top. I don't know if there's any indication that it may have.
Oh man, Syngman Rhee himself, or blaming Americans for that?
Well, I do remember that there was something.
Yeah,
someone had made a comment. I can't remember whose quote it was. Who was in Korea at the time and on the bridge who survived the explosion? There was an American on the bridge who survived the explosion. And he has a quote where he suggests that the Koreans essentially put they put like their like foolish or like pathetic trust in the Americans. It's something, I think that's the word he called it, pathetic trust in the Americans to help them in those early years, and those, you know, right around that time. Who was that? I think it was what's his name? Gibney.
I don't know.
I can't. Yeah, and because he was on the bridge. I'm pretty sure he was on the bridge. He got injured. He survived, and he talks about how Koreans came up to him after, and they had really, in broken English, saying, pointing to themselves where they're bleeding in pain, saying, can you take us to the hospital? In broken English. And he was like, I'm injured too. I can't do anything. I'm here bleeding also. I'm sorry, I can't help you. So I don't know if it came directly from the Americans. That's not what I'm suggesting really, but I wouldn't be surprised if it came from directly from the top of the Korean
I
government.
think it's just a surprise, and it was a lot of miscommunication going on, and the mistakes happened, and we had to get a scapegoat.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. The whole idea of it being North Korea was definitely a scapegoat. Do you know when it was revealed that it was South Korea that did it? Do you know anything about that timeline?
Seriously, I was doing my research on this, and I didn't find that.
I'm curious about that. When it was actually revealed and how it was found out that the North didn't do it. You can imagine the anger and the people at the time, survivors and family of victims and things like that.
No, that's just the pattern of Korean history is your neighbor's going to screw you over more than an outsider will.
Yeah.
It's just the local aristocrat is going to just really screw you over. Never rely on them to do the right thing. It's just a pattern. In when I was studying, all these years I've been studying Korean history, it's just a pattern I've always noticed. And it still goes on. People in authority, they always try to do the Confucian thing and say, well, it's my job. The way it works is you show respect to me and I will take care of you. That's the simple version of it. But then when it comes down to it, nah. It's just one-sided Confucianism.
Right. Yeah. Neo-Confucianism as well.
Neo-Confucianism, or I call it FUC, fucked up Confucianism.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the hangovers of that, of the Joseon dynasty right there. And we're just, people in authority just will not carry the responsibilities that go with the role, and we'll abandon everything at the first whiff of smoke.
Right. Yeah.
We're going to do a lot of episodes that we're going to show that, and I'll try to avoid lecturing on that one, but pointing it out, because we'll talk about the Sampoong department store disaster.
Right.
We're going to talk about the Indian War.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the Seoul and maybe Park Geun-hye sometime.
Oh, well, yeah, there's some direct connection with the Dark Side of Seoul tour. Not us personally, but the running of the tour and her impeachment.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that always sticks in my mind, where Confucianism, as I know it, very clearly states, and this is not the Neo-Confucianism either, but it very clearly states that a king is only a king if they're kingly. So if a person who is in a position of a king, the political power position of a king, but they don't have the traits of a king, they're not a true king. But a commoner living in the lower classes, part of the lower classes, can have the traits of a king, and therefore is actually a king, but without the power.
Right.
I think that's laid out pretty clearly in the Analects. I think. It's been a while since I've read that.
Go back on that, but that sounds right. And we don't get that.
No, and because I don't think Neo-Confucianism exactly promoted that tenet of Confucianism.
No, I call it. It's more of a fundamentalist Confucianism.
Yeah,
where you focus on one aspect of it, mutate it to your own devices. Yeah, and
designed to create social classes and differences between at the time, age, essentially, basically, for sure. And that's the one that really still exists, but also between men and women.
It's just basically people in power saying, like, I'm going to make a system that benefits me. Hand me
yeah, right. That's right. And I have the power and resources to do it.
Yeah, like He-Man. Therefore, I have the power.
Right. Except not cool, like He-Man.
And it doesn't come from the castle of Grayskull.
No, they are not masters of the universe. No.
Doesn't come. All right. So there is a little bit of a redemption in there. So Colonel Che Chang-shik, he was exonerated in the courts eventually in the 60s. And in 2007, June 27, 2007, first memorial service by local Veterans Peace Association, they made a service for him, honoring him.
That's interesting. Yeah, I've often kind of wondered, and I don't I'm not very knowledgeable about that situation. I just, like I said, I only know this on the periphery, really. But I really wonder if his exoneration, which was by Pak Chung-hee in his administration in the 60s.
Yeah.
I really wonder if that was just a way to remove any kind of guilt from the military, from like a military government trying to remove any kind of guilt that could be placed on the military during the war or at all.
Yeah.
I often wondered that. Yeah. How genuine is the exoneration, because he actually was innocent or could not be held accountable to himself or solely him. So I've often wondered about that. I always question that kind of stuff, just because I just don't trust governments in the way they move. Yeah. So
anyway. So this was there's our light, little concise episode we're doing today. And if you want to go on our web page or go into our Facebook page, and we can discuss this even more. Go even further. If you have more information, if you want to have any questions, we'll make up an answer for you.
We'll look it up. We'll research it.
We'll
look it up.
Yeah, look it up. So thank you. We actually we can actually tease next week's episode. We actually chose what next week's episode is going to be.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Fire. What is it?
Fire.
Oh. Bull balad. Bull.
It's called bull in Korean, Beavis.
Jungye.
And that's all you're getting. If that.
I'm trying to think of what would Beavis say if he was Korean.
He'd be potty mouthed, but in Korean. Choriga. Yeah. Dakjo.
Yeah. That was the music for a while. No more. Anyway, if you're one of those sick people who thinks our humor is amusing, please join us on our tours.
Tours are way more entertaining than us doing Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, sure. darksideofsoul.com.
Hey, we didn't get to the #1 nighttime tour in Seoul on TripAdvisor by doing nothing, by being unentertaining, Joe.
Right. That is true.
Yes,
that is true. We do have rank fairly highly, but
yes,
I don't like bragging about myself that much. All right.
That's why I did it for you.
All right. Also, you can also get the world's #1 Korean spooky folktale comic on the market. Dark Side of Soul. Weird Tales from Korean Lore. at our website, also on Comixology, which is an Amazon company, and Global Comics online. And if you're in Seoul, you can go to the Dice Latte, pick it up. Tell Joey, the owner, we said hi.
Yeah, really, really, if you can, check it out on Global Comics. That's a small, independently owned company that's just kind of getting started.
Yeah.
Have a look. There's a lot of other good comics on there. And definitely go buy the Dice Latte if you're in Seoul.
Support local. Even though we do have to play the evil corporate game, but, support local.
Yeah. Or buy directly from us. That's even better.
Okay, buy directly from us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, credits. Music is by Sorak-san, which you can find on Bandcamp at Jeju Digital. You can also get more tracks from Sorak-san if you become a patron. And that's it.
Let us know.
So that was our first Korean War episode.
Yeah. So much. That's such a beefy topic. There's just so much to discuss.
There's just too many troubled waters on that one.
Yeah. And, I think in a lot of ways, it's really easy to do episodes where the topic is about North Korea being the bad guy. But in a lot of ways, we're being on the opposite side. Of course, we make them the bad guy when we make South Korea the good guy.
This low hanging fruit.
Yeah, our countries were part of we were on the right side of history. But I think looking at it from a broader aspect, and especially how we approach things thematically for the podcast. And
there you go. You're saying what I was about to say. For me, I find it interesting when I find patterns, themes repeated throughout history. And this is why I got so interested in Korean history in the first place, is I found these themes that were universal. And it's so, when you look at something, oh, that was so far in the past, and then you see it just repeated now, and it just looks, it's just wearing different type of clown shoes.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, like I said, history always has warnings for us.
Well, it didn't on that bridge. Oh,
no. Yeah. Terrible. But yeah, I think that's kind of how we'll approach other future episodes about the Korean War and how things were kind of dark on this side of the 38th as well.
There's some good stories. Even just my research for this, I posted something on our page we couldn't put on the show tonight, but just such an interesting little stories in there. I got one friend whose grandfather has a great story. I would like maybe get him on the show sometime, talk about that one. Those are just, it's dark, but it's just, wow. There's stories about people in situations. I'm like, how would I react to these situations? When I'm just like, I don't want to walk down the street to go to E-Mart.
Your first world problems.
Yeah.
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 And I'm here tonight going, man, I don't know. Should I get a new microphone? Not sure. The microphone seems to be kind of glitching on me, but
these types of things.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. Thank you everyone for listening. Until next time, stay spooky.
Good night.